So good evening, everyone. Today we'll continue with the polity itself, and we'll discuss some topics today. So I have listed few so that we can discuss at large. So the first one is Finance Commission, right? Okay. So what do you know about Finance Commission? So recently the 15th Finance Commission has been established, right?
It's a constitutional body.
Okay, so it is a constitutional body. Okay. So hope you know the difference between the constitutional body and a statutory body, right? Constitutional body means it is established by the constitution itself. Statutory body through a what do you call it? Act of Parliament. Okay. Fine. Okay. So constitutional body then.
The Article 280.
280. So under Article 280, you need to establish, and it is mandatory.
Yes, sir.
So mandatory provision where once in every 5 years you need to establish this particular Finance Commission. Okay. Then
Article 275, sir.
so it is president who appoints it. Okay. Then
The Article 275, grant in aids.
grant in aid also will be taken care by these. Okay, that comes under the functions of it. So there are functions of Finance Commission which talks about various aspects. So what are the functions of Finance Commission mentioned in the Constitution? So the first one is divide net proceeds, right?
Yes,
Net
sir.
tax proceeds. So net
Particle-
tax proceeds should be divided among centered on the states. Okay. Then grant in aid, as you mentioned. So principle of grant in aid. And number 3, through the consolidated fund of the state, how much the municipality should be provided. So that principle has to be provided. Apart from that, you can have anything which is advised by the president to provide as a thing. Okay, so out of the consolidated fund, what has to be done, they have to do it. So these are functions. Whether these and they submit the recommendation to whom?
Sir, President of India.
So they submit the recommendations to president only. Okay. So understand this recommendation is advisory, right? So it is not a binding thing, it is an advisory. But usually we will take it and implement it. Okay. So how about the composition of the commission?
Sir, 5 members.
Okay, so there will be a chairperson and 4 members, right? So totally 5. Okay. So who should be a chairperson? What is the qualification? Whether Constitution of India provides qualification for the members of the Finance Commission?
No, sir. The Finance Act provides
Okay,
it.
so only the Finance Commission Act, the Act of the Parliament provides it. Okay. So out of qualification, the chairperson need to be a person who is well aware of the public affairs. So that's a qualification. Whereas the members, one member, they are giving one qualification. 1, they can have a legal experience. Number 2, financial administration. Number 3, the economic affairs of the state kind of. Okay. So likewise, we have different qualifications for every member, and maximum of 4 members can be appointed. So in the 16th Finance Commission, how many members are there? So who is the chairperson of the 16th Finance Commission?
So Dr. Arvind Panagaria.
So Dr. Arvind Panagaria is a chairperson. So we have only 3 members appointed now. Okay, instead of 4, we had only 3. Okay, fine. So these are some of the important aspects of Finance Commission, and when the recommendations are given, so they may ask you, they will have the tabulation. So how the horizontal and vertical divisions are there. So and when horizontal is given, so what all the various categories in which the horizontal I mean, horizontal devolution is happening. So that they will ask you only after recommendations. Okay. So these are some of the questions which you have. So whether you have provisions to disqualify or remove these persons. So usually it is a constitution doesn't provide. So usually you don't have it as an important provision because it is only a short-term commission. So maximum it may exist for 2 to 3 years and then it will be dissolved and the recommendations will be taken. But in case if they want, they can resign, or in case if they are unsound mind or insolvent, judged as insolvent, those aspects, basic grounds, they can be removed by the president, right? Okay. So which ministry actually takes care of all these composition, its functions and every other aspect, administrative aspect, which ministry comes in? Its notification, all these aspects of finance commission.
Ministry of Finance,
So Ministry of Finance, okay, Department of
Economic Affairs.
Economic Affairs, okay. So these are certain aspects which are governed by the Ministry of Finance, okay, understood? So same way we have for state also. So this is only for consolidated fund of the India, and for the state we have finance commission for the state. So that will take care of the state proceeds and the local self governments. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So all these aspects they have asked already the questions. Fine. So now we take up election commission and delimitation. Yes.
So eligibility for the appointment of finance commission. They are not MP.
So chairperson, just some expert in public affairs is enough. It need not be a person who knows well versed in economics kind of thing. But in members, one person an expert in economics, one person financial administration, so who has been in government finance, and one general economic say market expert kind of. So those who know the state of economy in general. Okay, and one from the legal background, preferable. So there can be even a former judges can be even appointed, or any person who has some legal knowledge related to finance and other stuff. So this is how they appoint.
So is it an independent body or?
No, it is just a constitutional body and advisory body. So need not be it doesn't speak about much of independence because they are just going to do a function which has been provided by president. So president requires certain things to do and they are going to do.
More of a committee.
Yeah. So the commission, yes, of course, there will be some issues of independence. Independence in the sense how far it is, but largely it won't be much influenced except for certain aspects. So it is not much influenced. And the question of influence is also not much taken care of because almost it is going to be commission which talks with discussions with all other forums and bring back, and they try to have some reason behind it and they are going to give certain advisory aspect. Even if they are going to recommend say 40%, it can be given as 41% also if the union government recommends, and if they want to do it, they can reduce it also. So it's up to the union government to allocate funds because it is just an advisory thing and it is not a one-shot payment, So it has to be apportioned for the next 5 years. So naturally, the question of independence doesn't arise much.
Yes.
Sir, maximum means is it always going to be 5 members or it may be
No, maximum it is 4 members, 1 chairperson. Because Constitution itself 280 clearly mentions president will appoint a commission headed by a chairperson and 4 other members. Right.
Okay.
So now we move on with the election commission and delimitation commission. Okay, so what do you know about election commission? There is recent amendments with respect to election commission.
Yes, sir. Now we have a committee to appoint the members of the election commission.
So previously how it was there?
It was like just from the Council of Ministers, like it was.
Advisory of the Council of Ministers, the President will appoint the election.
So
Now-
appointment is still president, but there is no committee or any procedure which was followed. Okay. So there was a case with regard to that, and the Supreme Court came out with the judgment that the Parliament has to pass a law to have a transparent methodology, and there was a suggestion that Chief Justice of India should be present as a member of that committee. But amendment came up, and there was a committee. So President will appoint that particular Chief Commissioner, Chief Election Commissioner, and Election Commissioners of Election Commission of India are based on recommendation of the Select Committee. Okay. So this Select Committee will choose from among the list which was given by the Search Committee. Right.
Yes.
So Search Committee will be headed by whom?
Law Ministry, sir.
Is it?
Most probably, sir. I have like read in the
So it is
newspaper.
Cabinet Secretary. So he will be heading the Search Committee, where the Ministry of Law and other secretaries will be present, and they will be providing a list. And the list will be provided to the Select Committee, from which they will select, right? So Select Committee, who is chairperson? So it will be Prime Minister and one Union Cabinet Minister and leader of the opposition, or the leader of the opposition as such, or in Lok Sabha, or in case if any person has been representing the entire opposition faction, that particular leader, in case if LOP is not present. So only 3 people will be there. And naturally, the government has upper hand because it is Prime Minister and the Union Cabinet Minister who is selected by the Prime Minister that is nominated. So even if there is some vacancy in the Select Committee, the commission's, the committee's recommendation will be sent to the President. President will appoint, right? Okay. Now,
Sir, one
what-
question, sir. When the government, like in majority of the committee, government is having an upper hand, sir. Then what is the purpose of keeping a member? Like what significance here?
that is this particular LOP. And that
Yes,
is
sir.
nominal. It is just a nominal thing. Okay. So you don't have any other option. It is nominal. Say when you have really effective committee, then you need to have Prime Minister and one leader of opposition kind of, and
And you-
some other person who will be there. So that is what the Supreme Court said. CJI or any judge of the Supreme Court can be there. So in case if CJI doesn't want to appear, so a nominee of a CJI from the Supreme Court can be there. Okay, so which will be balanced because Election Commission is must be an independent body, and because it is a fundamental to any existence of a democracy, because elections are fundamental to democracy. For that, you need to have what you call the Election Commission, which has to be effective. So that can be possible, but here naturally it is just a namesake. It will be right because even if the leader of opposition does have any other choice, or if the leader of opposition doesn't appear in that committee, it's still that particular committee recommendation is valid and president will appoint. Okay. So that's the thing. Anyway, so what are the other amendments coming in? So renewal process is same. Okay, there is no change in renewal process. The Chief Election Commissioner will be removed on the same as judges of Supreme Court, and election commissioners will be removed on the recommendation of on the recommendations of
Chief Election
CEC. Okay, so what are the other changes, amendments? Salary, now it is not that of Supreme Court judge, it is just a secretary. Okay, so it is equivalent to the cabinet secretary level. Okay, so that's a significant change what it is. Okay, then any actions in their official capacity if they take, so there won't be any challenge in the court of law. Okay, for their actions which are civil or criminal, cases cannot be filed against them. So immunity is being provided for Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners. Okay, immunity is provided for them for their any official actions which are taken. And the rank, the officials who are now selected, now it will be only from persons who are with the rank of secretaries to Government of India. So previously, there is no qualification. You can pick them from any walk of life. Okay, anybody can become a member of the Election Commission. Whereas now, they have clearly mentioned 10 years they have to be a secretary in Government of India. And those people who are retired, they will be posted as CEC, okay, or ECs.
The immunity provision was earlier also there.
No, no. Previously, it was not there. Exclusively, now they have provided. Because last time, Rajiv Kumar, who is the present, he had a criminal case filed in Telangana. For that reason only, that immunity was exclusively provided. Right. So that's how it will happen. So previously it was not. Now it is. And rest of the things are same. So not much changes have been provided. Clear? Anyway, so now the first appointment has been done. You know, presently 2 election commissioners have been appointed. And this procedure is now under court of law. Okay, it has been challenged under the court of law. And I think tomorrow, day after tomorrow, the case is about to be heard. And we'll see what Supreme Court is going to say. I don't suppose they will strike down the appointment as such, because even in the Arun Goyal case, the Supreme Court didn't strike down the appointment, because that was even more crucial, because the person got voluntarily retired and immediately he was appointed as an election commissioner. And within few years, he also resigned from the position. Okay. So it involves, so it shows that there is some issues running behind this particular election commission. So election commission must be an independent body. Now the question comes here. So as you asked for finance commission, whether really election commission is independent? No. Okay. Even such autonomy, what was there before, that has been even diluted now. So that is a problem what the election commission is suffering from. Because previously they had a status of Supreme Court judge, but now that particular thing has been reduced. And the appointment process and the removal process of ECs, and just if EC is not cooperating with the Chief Election Commissioner, immediately Chief Election Commissioner can recommend the removal of EC, and EC can be removed, okay, as easy as possible. So these are certain problems really which are there. So election commissioners, the salary and emoluments are not charged expenditure for election commission. So at least UPSC is to an extent independent when compared to election commission of India, right? So election commission has to be independent body, and it has to have very good what do you call immunity over from the administrative perspective, right? That is immunity from the executive tyranny. But unfortunately, as of now, it is not. So we need to create a system. They don't have secretariat. They don't have staff available for them to undertake certain businesses. So there are many things which has to be structurally done for election commission as of now. But previously, when it was restructured, it was only in 1991 when the single member commission has been made into a multi-member commission. But as after that, now only the structure has been slightly altered. So not completely, but slightly altered. Now what happens? The secretary level, the officials, the bureaucracy will be more towards anxiety to become an election commissioner post-retirement or post thing. So still more politically, it becomes more vulnerable positions, right? So that's a most fundamental problem what we have, right?
Sir, like to increase or decrease the member, like do we need to pass a law?
Yeah, we need to amend the law.
We need to amend the law.
Yeah.
And
See,
can we do it more than 3 also?
As of now, I think not possible. I think in the act itself, they have mentioned the numbers. So we need to check it out once. I'm not much clear about it. But I think it is only 3 can be appointed, not more than. The number is mentioned in the act, I suppose. If you remember. And say yes, of course, even before the appointment of the thing is even worse, right? At least now you have some select committee, search committee, some accountability can be fixed. But still, previously you don't know how it was appointed. Now you know some list has been prepared and do so. So as the LOP says, 212 list of 212 names were there, out of which all of a sudden 6 were sorted out before 10 minutes, and a couple of them were selected. So this is how it happens. So how the selection process happens, how the filtering process happens, so we don't know. Got it. So that's a problem in not only here, in other appointments also. So how the persons are being chosen. So what is the standard of degree of categorization you have? So these are all processes what it happens. So when you have certain equality of votes and you have some discussion really, so you need not bring out all things in public, say how you filter out and so on, but at least within that particular equality of votes it prevails. So naturally you will have some effective appointments will be done, right? So at least now you have some process. Previously you don't have process, right? But not much difference is there, yeah? Apart from having some process.
So like these institutions are very important, then why the constitutional makers have not like made the provision like these can be done in the parliament for the appointment and also like,
Yeah,
because
originally when we thought, we never thought, election, yes, of course, that is one gray area what we had. Because we never thought election commission as a commission kind of, it was just a single member commission which we had in the initial stage. And the framers whom we had the formation of UPSC or the finance commission or any other provisions what we had. So we had a clarity in how the UPSC should function, right? So our CAG has to function. So you can see how the CAG was provided, the provisions of CAG, how it was. But definitely we lacked some due process in giving some raw deal to election commission in the initial stages. No doubt about it, because when the original constitution was there in 324 and all, you have a very bland provisions. So in appointment of commission and so on, just providing them equality of status with Supreme Court judge, without which nothing is going to be. Yeah. So yes, we have been giving them a raw deal in the initial stage itself, and that's how it happened to be giving a raw deal continuously across the board. Yeah, that's a problem what we have. And completely the thing is that the appointment process and the removal process. So everything when you put it similar to that of Supreme Court judge, that same provision what you had, that all other aspects what you have, the powers and functions, the charge expenditure, it could have been similar to that of CAG also. Right? But anyway, we don't know what happened at that time really, why they went on that particular scenario, or possibly they would have thought that the rules and regulations which have been framed later would have been a better case, because finance committee, except for every body which was created by the constitution, the larger aspect came out only through act of parliament, right? So they would have thought that through act of parliament they would have done, but initially we never thought anything about to do so with regard to the the act of parliament. And initially you can see until 1990s, election commission was just a mere, its role is very seen as a myopic view, right? So they will just conduct something and they don't even have a secretariat, which we least bothered about. So that is how the things were. So because initially conducting elections was merely just collecting the vote box, the ballot box, and counting it and just providing it. but the impact of it, so how the political parties behaved, so never ever we would have, the framers would have thought the process or the process of elections, how it could be tampered, right? So possibly that would have been that downgradable form of elections what we had later, possibly the framers would have not imagined. Right? So that would have been one of the cases why we have that particular ordeal given to them, right? But these are possible connotations what it would have been. So it's whenever a political a constitutional body is set up, say finance commission. So even in finance commission, you had which has a specific body, a specific thing which you have for finance allocation. We never had a provision for the chairperson as he should be an expert in economy. It is all about public affairs, right? So even for the chairperson of election commission, definitely it is an administrative position where you need to manage certain things. So you need not think like human rights activist or social activist. Activist doesn't administer. Remember that. So activists are persons who are pressure group who can highlight certain things. They need not be an effective administrators. So administrators can be, but these activists can be a part of commission, like ECs or so and so. Got it? So they need not take up the chairperson's position, but at least regional commissioners kind of. So those type of information providers or censors, likewise we can have. But anyway, for that we need to be even more mature to have. That's the thing what we need to. So that's too early for India to have such people in helm of affairs. So we don't have trust from the government side also. So that's a problem, right? And that's the reason why till now you had an official who had been heading this particular position. Say at least finance commission, you have different people coming in, right? They were not ministers or they were out of ministries, out of some economists. There were people who were there. But for election commission, we specifically, they are these people. You can even have a retired judge can be appointed. Likewise, also we can have. Got it. So it's all about how the person, see, it's all about how the trust factor is. So that's very important. Okay. So any other questions? Election commission. Okay.
Sir, you mentioned like the procedure has been challenged. So, sir, actually, what's the matter, sir? Can you just give a hint about it?
That's what. See, when Supreme Court said CGI should be a part of it, the Act didn't have a part of it. So that was a point of dispute there.
Okay.
But I don't suppose it will be done away by the Supreme Court as such, because there is no. It's an observation. Yes, of course it was. Maybe Supreme Court may add on something. Or I don't suppose they will squash this particular process as such. But the question of immunity, the question of just degrading to secretary, so these are real point of dispute more than the procedure. Okay, so whether there can be some observations there in those areas, right?
And sir, why does government degraded these kind of positions? What's the benefit of the government that they have?
Simple as it is. Say, it's not only here. It's Chief Information Commissioner. Originally, the Chief Information Commissioner position was different, but the government said to make it parity. So actually, the position was created not to make a parity, so that the position should not be degraded. So that's the idea behind. But when positions are degraded in this particular way, the rules and regulations can be easily modified. And naturally, they can be. Say when information commissioner, the tenure is reduced and the charge expenditure can be reverted back to, controlled by the respective ministry. Naturally, the person who takes care of it will not be free enough to act upon the particular objectives. So that's a basic problem what you have. Say when you downgrade a chief election commissioner from judge to a secretary level, so automatically that. See, why you call a position similar to that? That means the perks, the position, the rank, everything goes with that, right?
It means like
so the authority, Yeah, authority, everything goes with that particular rank. So a judge-like rank will be there. Whereas now it will not happen like that. Right? So that itself will hamper decision making. So that's a problem. Yeah.
Understood.
So one more thing is that the framers, they created independent judiciary and they created a reference to that for all these bodies. Say, especially when you asked why they had this type of weak system. Say they clearly mentioned that the status is going to be referred to something. When the reference is made to something, naturally you need to infer that the constitution makers wanted to have a body similar to that status. So you should not hamper that, or you need to build upon that. But we didn't do that. That's one important problem what we had. Yeah. That's another aspect what we want to have. Because wherever you can see removal on part of judge of Supreme Court, wherever CEC or where you can see the CAGI, everywhere you have a reference. That means these are constitutional bodies where the reference is made to a judge. So it means that they should be independent. Okay, even when you take the oath and affirmation office for these CEC or CAGI and so on, it will be similar to the judge of Supreme Court. Why? Because they are people who have to be independent. So in that particular case, what we need to do after when we are amending, we need to take that particular objective in mind and we need to upgrade the particular organization or the body. But we didn't do that. That's a problem. Okay? And that's what Ambedkar's quote goes on. So howsoever good the constitution you have, if the rulers are not good, so naturally that constitution is rendered weak. How bad the constitution is, if the rulers are good, that constitution will give the benefit of all, right? So that's the aspect what we have. So when you do the amendments, you need to have the objective of upgrading it. Naturally, you will have a better upgradations which you can. Okay. Fine. So from Election Commission, you have Delimitation Commission also. What is Delimitation Commission? What is the difference between Election Commission and Delimitation Commission?
But it's not a constitutional body.
Okay, so it is not
It's a
established by the Constitution, but through the Act of Parliament. Okay,
yeah.
Statutory body. Then,
Like sir, after every census, it
whether
has to
there
be
is a link between any link between ECI and Delimitation Commission. So, Chief Election Commissioner will be a member in a Delimitation Commission. So that is a link. What it happens. Okay. So who should be the chairperson of Delimitation Commission?
Retired judge of Supreme Court judge.
So it is must a retired judge. Okay. So for Supreme Court or High Court will be there. So he must be judge alone can become the chairperson. Okay. So one member will be election commissioner of chief election commissioner, right? Fine. So what are the other aspect of Delimitation Commission? Whether they can change the numbers of seats in Lok Sabha or state.
Sir, like it has been like till 2026, it had been like stopped. Like you cannot change it.
That is fine. Whether they can change the number of seats or not.
Yes, they can change. Sir.
Is it? Delimitation Commission cannot change the number of seats. They can only redraw the boundaries. Got it? The number of seats can be changed only by the Parliament. Okay, through amendment of the Constitution, right? So you cannot, Delimitation Commission cannot change the number of seats, but they can redraw the boundaries. That's all. Okay. So in case of 543 is there, within 543, they can re-boundary that. So 543, they cannot increase even tomorrow after 2026, they cannot increase it to 550, 560 unless or otherwise Parliament by law makes it. Yeah. Okay. So this Delimitation Commission, how powerful it is? How powerful it is?
Sir, it's recommended. Sorry, it's what's the it's the what it's the bill submitted by it cannot be altered. Should be accepted as it is.
Okay. Okay. See, the Delimitation Commission is considered to be the most powerful body among these statutory bodies or constitutional bodies. Why? Because their report or recommendation is binding and it cannot be challenged in the court of law and it cannot be amended also. Okay. So in the legislature and so on. So that is the power of Delimitation Commission. Yeah. So almost the powerful body, what it happens to be in India. Anyway. So delimitation is done based on both Lok Sabha as well as the state legislature, state legislative assemblies. Fine. So this is how delimitation commission happens, and only few times we have delimitation commission. Recently, we had the commission set up for Jammu and Kashmir. Okay.
Sir, one question, sir. Sir, like to change the number of seats even in a state, do we need a parliament by law?
Yeah, number of seats in state legislature and parliament, we have what do you call parliament by law.
And
We need
like,
to amend that thing.
yes, sir. And like, can delimitation commission can change the number of seats in the Rajya Sabha?
Rajya Sabha doesn't have delimitation at all.
Okay.
Because it is dependent on the what do you call the number of seats in the assembly. Right.
Assembly.
So according to the number of people in the assembly, you will have that particular number in the Rajya Sabha. That's the reason why electoral constituencies alone will be delimited by boundaries. Clear. Fine. Because with respect to number of MLAs only, you are selecting your Rajya Sabha member. When number of MLAs increases, automatically the corresponding Rajya Sabha member will increase. Clear. Understood. Say approximately for every 7 or 8 MPs in a larger state, you have MLAs, you have one MP. Correct? Understood.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so, say for example, if Tamil Nadu has 39 Lok Sabha seats, you have 18 Rajya Sabha seats. So, how you derive 18? It is not just by half of it. It is because of the number of MLAs, accordingly, how it is going to be. Got it? So, when number of MLAs increases, your Rajya Sabha seat will increase. That's yeah. So, number of MLAs depends upon the number of seats which the parliament declares. Right? Then, so how the appointment of chief election information commissioners are done and enforcement directorate is done. Who appoints chief information commissioner? So again, president, oath of office is also given by president. Okay. Fine. So committee, search committee, same as chief election commissioner. Chief information commissioner is also same. Okay. So prime minister, LOP and union minister. Okay. So say now the almost the amendment for that has been done way back. So I think in 2019, 20. So the tenure has been reduced to 3 years, and all the salaries and other emoluments are determined by the parliament. So likewise, it has been changed. That changes you just have a glance, okay? Though it is not in current affairs, so just have a glance over it. So what is the issue in the enforcement directorate? So how the members of the enforcement directorate are appointed? Director of the enforcement directorate, how the person is appointed? Who appoints it?
The central government.
So it is the government. Okay, so the union government, the government of India appoints. So how the process? There is a committee which will recommend a set of people. So out of which the government of India will recommend. So who will head that particular committee?
Cabinet Secretary.
No, so it is CVC, Chief Vigilance Commissioner will head that particular committee, and that committee will give a recommendation, and that recommendation will be undertaken by the government and appoint that particular enforcement directorate. So under which department enforcement directorate comes in?
Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance.
Department of Revenue, the Ministry of Finance, right? So the issue here is the extension. Okay, so though the extension for the previous enforcement director was accepted by accepted by the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court didn't incentivize with the idea of extension, right? But there was an amendment recently where they have 1 year extension of 3 terms. I mean, when a term ends, so they are eligible for a year of extension. That was one important amendment which was given. But anyway, Supreme Court was really upset with the multiple extensions which are given to the directors. Okay, so that was one important problem what we had. Similarly, CBA also you try to have the appointment. So CBA appointment, there will be a Prime Minister, a Cabinet Minister, but there will be a judge from High Court, Supreme Court, who will be also there in selection of CBI. Okay, so in CBA also extension and other stuff is also a problem. So appointment of CVC, appointment of CBI, appointment of that is enforcement directorate head, all these is important. CBI is coming under which department? So actually, it is now under Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Personnel. Okay, Ministry of Personnel. So Cabinet Secretary has a overseeing administrative aspect. So check over that. And ED comes under Revenue, right? Department of Revenue. What are all the cases ED can take? What law?
So under PMLA, FEMA, there's this one more
So-
COE something.
So these two are the most important thing. So FEMA and the PMLA. So these two acts are the primary act under which ED operates. Whereas your serious frauds investigation office, they go under corporate affairs, corporate issues and other stuff, they will come under that. Okay, Companies Act, basically. Companies Act comes under that. Coffee POSA is not there. So now we have only these two. So ED comes under only these two. Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas CBI, primarily Prevention of Corruption Act. So that is a thing what it happens. But any other thing which you give, they will investigate. Okay, any other crime to be investigated, it can be investigated by the CBI in case if it is directed by the union government or the courts. Okay. So understand what are the different aspects what we have, especially ED, because it was highly controversial as of now. So they can ask you about enforcement directorate. See, understand, you go into the details of them, whether they can have FIR, whether they can file an FIR, whether they can arrest people, whether they can remand people, arrest or remand, okay, whether they can issue warrants, okay, whether they can issue summons, what powers they have, everything you try to have with respect to ED. Got it? Understood. So that's important with respect to these people. So then ethics committee. So why ethics committee came in news?
Sir, Mahua Mitra, like
So Mahua
MP
Mitra
of
case.
West Bengal.
Okay. Fine. What is the difference between privilege committee and ethics committee?
So the privilege committee is for more serious offenses, while the ethics committee is for unethical conduct.
Unethical. So just for unethical conduct, you have ethics committee, whereas privilege committee is larger aspect. Remember that. Okay, generally the word will mislead you. Ethics means it will be larger, whereas privilege is something. So privilege is nothing but privilege of the member of the parliament as well as the privilege of the parliament as a whole. Okay. So it is a larger say. So larger aspect, the boundary, the jurisdiction is larger. and the import of that action of the conduct is also larger. Okay, so then we proceed it to privilege committee and ethics committee for ethical conduct. So cash for query and all, it comes under ethics committee. So what happens to a person who is under privilege or ethics committee purview? What will happen? The committee will be appointed by that particular individual chairpersons or the speaker, and then they will conduct the inquiry and they will provide some judgment kind of. So whether it is binding on part of the house or the chairperson or speaker, so what is the status of that particular recommendation?
That is not binding.
Hmm.
We ask for the members whether they could be taken, whether be taken by the house.
So the committee's recommendation will be put in front of the house and the house will decide, right? So that's very important. Okay, the house will decide whether it is privilege or ethics. The house will decide. Okay, fine. Whether to move to the committee, the chairperson or the speaker will decide. Got it? That decision is fine, and the house's decision is fine. Okay, when the ethics committee deals with an expulsion, then automatically the member will be expelled. Okay, so member will be expelled. So what is the status of the expelled member?
So the expelled member can contest elections.
So
but-
immediately,
Yeah.
what happens when the ethics committee or privilege committee says that this particular member is should be expelled? It will be the person will be expelled, and that particular what do you call that constituency will be declared vacant. But the same person can contest again in the same constituency and get into the house. Got it? Simple. Okay. Whether the member can approach court of law.
Yes, the Supreme Court, like,
So they can go to the court of law. Okay. So against the committee's recommendation, in case natural justice has been not upheld, actually they can go to the court of law. Right? Okay. So here you have some facts. Okay. So which committee came up with the idea of ethics committee? Okay. And the first ethics committee was put in Rajya Sabha by K.R. Narayan. Okay. And in Lok Sabha, the 13th Lok Sabha had it, the committee of privileges recommended the thing, and the ad hoc ethics committee was set up by Palayogi. And 2015, ethics committee became permanent part of Lok Sabha. Remember that. Okay. So since 1997, ethics committee is a part of Rajya Sabha, whereas since 2015, permanent ethics committee is present. But the first is there 24 years before we had. Okay. So each house has a separate ethics committee, and all the rules applicable to privilege committee will be there for ethics committee. Clear? And not more than 15 members and not exceeding 1 year. Okay. And for example, Rajya Sabha 10 members, not exceeding 1 year. Clear? So understand. So permanent means it will be there, but once a year it will be changed. Okay, the numbers will be changed. Clear?
Yeah.
So any doubts in this?
no.
Okay. So the next session we will have it on Monday. So in Monday we will discuss the bills and acts. Okay.
So
So
I have
all the
one-
bills and acts together, we will discuss it on Monday.
so where can we access these PDFs
Yeah,
that
come
you
on,
are
please.
going on? Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can access this in the
Okay, on the website.
itself. There will be a
Website itself.
scroll which is there, and the marquee will be there. Yeah. In the website you can have a marquee running there.
Okay.
You can click the marquee, you can download it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Fine. So that will be the marquee will give you the list of what do you call the titles, what we are discussing. If you want to get the notes, you can get into the FB page or Insta page. You will get it.
Okay, so the notes are on the page. All right,
Yeah,
sir.
you have it.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Yes, sir.
So we'll see on Monday. So Monday,
Sir, one request, sir.
yeah.
Like, sir, can like after, like, suppose like on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, can we have a 4 to 5 question at the end of the session so that we can recap all those?
4 to 5
Like-
question means,
Like the prelims questions, like for the practice, like for the techniques, kind of just for the revision from your side.
that is
maybe.
regarding these topics.
No, sir, like for any question, like you
Any
feel that,
question? Okay,
Yes.
fine. We'll try to put it out
so that
because,
the techniques, and also that it will keep getting into the fine
yeah,
again
yeah.
and again.
So we may limit it to 2 or 3 questions or maximum 5 because
Two,
time has to
whatever, sir,
permit.
like.
So accordingly we'll do.
Because now even we have an understanding, because we have solved many papers, so now we can apply all those techniques and we can learn if we are not able to apply. Sir.
Yeah, we'll do. Not fine. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So Monday we'll
Thank you.
meet. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.